For those of you that are always concerned with offensive lineman recruiting, you're going to be really happy. Our next commitment to talk about is from the offensive lineman position. Let's discuss who that is and what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. As you're watching or listening today, be sure to drop a comment down below about this particular topic. We'd love to hear your thoughts as we're sharing ours. I guess freeze warnings last 2 days in a row now. The day after we got a transfer portal entry, the very first one for 2024, we're talking about another commit. By the way, go make sure you check out that video about Robert Lewis for information on him. Now let's talk about the offensive line position. We are bringing in from Snow College, Seth Wilfred, to be a part of the Auburn football program. Very much a position of need and should be exciting for all fans out there. He's got 4 years to use 3 years of eligibility while he's here at Auburn, and we had to beat out Houston, Iowa State, names like that to get this commitment. And he's got a pretty interesting connection to the current team right now, which we'll talk about. As always, let's talk about the timeline of events that brought us to the point of getting the commitment of Seth Wilfred. We start back in high school as always, where he went to play for a prominent high school that had a lot of depth, and thus he had to play behind a lot of talent, thus not getting a lot of attention coming out of high school. Went the JUCO route. After 1 year at Snow College, started to garner a lot of interest from programs, even Auburn. Got that Auburn offer back in November, early November, then followed up with the official visit most recently in early December. And only 3 days later, he decided to commit to the Auburn Tigers, even reportedly canceled another visit he was supposed to take. Now that you know how he got here, here's some basic facts to know about this particular commitment. He was considered a 3-star prospect at the offensive lineman position coming out of high school in Mitchell, Nebraska, and ended up playing for Bishop Gorman to finish out his high school career. He's listed measurable-wise at 6'6", 295 pounds, which most people would put him in the offensive tackle category. We've seen players at Auburn switch position even with those measurables before, so we'll just have to wait and see. We always like to back up those facts with a few stats, and it's tough to get them on offensive linemen, but we'll look at some of the team stats to give you a better picture of what his experience level is. I do want to stress again, the tape was very impressive after only 1 year at the JUCO level to bring some attention, not just from Auburn, but from others. But if we look at the offense that he played for at Snow College, they got about 4,400 yards this season in total offense, but they were also averaging about 5 yards per attempt on offense, which means every 2 downs, effectively, they were getting a first down. Not that simple, but that's just the law of averages there. So I want to stress this also. If you look at the breakdown of what their offense looked like, it was a little bit more pass heavy, which Auburn has tended to do this past season. So that might have been something that aligned really well with what our coaches wanted here at Auburn. And finally, a few storylines around this commitment. We talked about connections, because those are always important in the recruiting game. And what better connection than having what will be a now current teammate for you coming to Auburn. Keontae Scott actually came from Snow College too. And what's even better, that the same day that the commitment happened, Keontae committed to something himself, coming back for another year. You got to think that they timed that out together. But the other storyline around this is just the beginning of the exterior offensive lineman recruits in this class. We already have an interior offensive lineman we'll mention in a second. So now that you know about this particular commitment, let's talk about what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. We'll always start off with the numbers. And right now, as the class currently stands as of this particular commitment, may have changed by the time that you're viewing this, is 21 total commits in the class, counting transfers. So that makes it 20 high school recruits and 1 transfer. This would be the 9th offensive recruit and commitment in this class, the 2nd offensive lineman, but the 1st offensive tackle. Let's try to predict what the future might look like for him when he arrives on campus at Auburn. Now, we always talk about redshirting when they come in as freshmen, but this guy, even though he's pretty fresh, is not going to be a freshman. He's going to have some experience. So I expect him to come in and not only just provide depth, but maybe earn some playing time right away. You got a group of about 4 seniors that'll probably be leaving, maybe a junior or someone like that. So there's going to be a little bit of attrition, but you've got a talented group that's already been there. They're freshmen at Auburn that are going to be earning more playing time as time goes on. And even DeAndre Carter, being part of this class, is going to probably earn some playing time at some point throughout the 2024 season. So while I do think he's still got an uphill battle to earn more and more playing time, I do think that you'll see him play. Let's talk about recruiting battlegrounds and pipelines. Where is this individual from? We've kind of mentioned it already. You could technically count 2 states. He is from Nebraska originally, but comes to us from Snow College in Utah. Now, there is the connection with Keontae Scott, maintaining that, I guess if you want to call it, directly a pipeline to Snow College. But it's always good, even though it's not a traditional battleground for Auburn out west, to have these connections, whether it's Utah or Nebraska. You always need inroads into other areas. And finally, let's talk about what this commitment means for the class of 2024, but specifically at the offensive line position. We broke down the depth chart a little bit, but we'll break it down just a little bit further. Currently, approximately 18 offensive linemen on the roster. 15 of those are the ones that saw or will see playing time significantly. We break that down even further into numbers. 4 seniors, probably all going to be leaving. I'm thinking they have any eligibility left. About 5 juniors, no sophomores, and 6 freshmen. And then you also count in there DeAndre Carter, who's already committed to this class, coming in to earn some playing time too. So if you look at those 4 senior spots that are being vacated effectively, 2 of them have now been filled, which would tell you maybe we'll fill 2 more offensive linemen. I think it's safe to say we'll take at least 1 more. We'll just watch and see what happens on the recruiting trail. So there you have it, my thoughts on your brand new offensive lineman commitment from the JUCO ranks, Seth Wilfred. Would love to know your thoughts about him down there in the comments section below. As always, check out those links in the description for ways that you can help support us here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.